to, to break it down for us extensively, the Protection Against Domestic Violence Act, as you call it, PADVA, because when somebody, when I saw it, Protection Against Domestic Violence Act, to me it appeared like we are protecting the act in itself, but we're not protecting the people. That is how I interpreted it. But I really would like to understand if this particular act has been sensitized, and if people have been sensitized enough to understand what this act is all about, because somebody would understand it as, Domestic Violence Act, as short as that. But now we have Protection Against Domestic Violence Act.
Yeah.
Then just break it down for us. Why Protection Against Domestic Violence Act?
Yeah, so first of all, to answer the question, I don't think people have been sensitized enough about it, because it came into law. I think it was Uhuru Kenyatta, I think, who made it into law in 2015, and it took time in Parliament before it became into law, because now a lot of male parliamentarians would shoot it down because people felt
2015 or 2022.
It's 2015.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 2015.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, a lot of people are not sensitized about it. A lot of people don't even understand, don't even know that law exists in the first place. Yeah, but it was brought in because they have said before there were no good laws. Like before 2015, if someone was undergoing domestic violence, maybe with their husband and a wife, you had to just make an application using the other laws, seeking a restraining order. So sometimes it would become hard. And if you, as lawyers will tell you, getting a restraining order, it's limiting someone's right. So that's why it takes, like before it's granted to you, it normally, like court looks at a lot of factors. But at least with the enactment of the PADVA Act, at least that has simplified it. Because PADVA, first of all, they have said it has defined it has expanded the definition of domestic violence. It came in to protect victims. Even if you see the act itself, the preamble itself, it says it protects victims who undergo domestic violence. Yeah, that was its sole purpose. Yeah, but now I think the major problem with it, they have said it's not well sensitized. There are no rules that have been brought. Like for instance, when we have laws, like for instance, you have the Civil Procedure Act, we normally have rules. Rules are more of a guideline, so that someone can know, like of course a layman cannot know, like I know there's that act, how does it protect me? Like someone cannot know, unless of course maybe, and some people don't afford lawyers, can't afford a lawyer to maybe file a case on their behalf. So I think that sensitization they've done the small claims court. They have tried to make it so simplified. I think the same thing should happen to the act. Make it so simplified to an extent that victims themselves can file cases in court. And then another thing, there are no courts that have been set aside for that.
Domestic violence.
Yeah, domestic violence. There are no courts, specific courts. Like right now, if someone is undergoing, even if someone walks into my office and we're supposed to file a case, we just file it, like for instance, now within Nairobi, we file it at Milimani. It's filed at the resident magistrate's court, so Milimani Magistrate's Court. And now, so this is a magistrate who's handling a lot of cases. With virtual court nowadays, someone may not even be comfortable, because now this is something other people will be listening in. So I think that's some of the things that I wish it would have been done, so that there are separate courts and maybe handle it. The way we have small claims, again I use small claims. There's specific courts for small claims matters. There are adjudicators or magistrates who handle small claims. So I think the same thing should be done. And then also people, because apart from court, you can go to the police, so that the police can lodge a criminal case. The police, they are no specific. They are not, I can say also most of them, they are not sensitized on how they handle it. So I'm just imagining if someone walks to the police station, of course you might report to some, I think maybe very few police stations I think have those specific desks for that, but now most don't, especially I'm outside Nairobi. Most of them don't.
Then Wakili, who is really dropping the ball? Because if you're talking about, we do have courts for small claims, and small claims can be something like your landlord kwamilia your deposit, you can take that to a small claims court. But something as critical as domestic violence, and we've been reporting these cases year in, year out, every month literally, then you say we do not have a court to handle such an issue, then who is really dropping the ball in this case?
I think now it's supposed to be legislators, or they have said rules have to be, I don't think they have taken it that seriously, the way other legislations have been taken seriously, because you find they are saying when most people are not aware of it. So it's supposed to be legislators, even like for instance now in the judiciary system, they're the ones supposed to put, for instance now for the Chief Justice supposed to put in courts specifically for that, to handle those matters. And then I also think people who handle it, like even magistrates who are handling those matters, should be trained, sensitized around it, because you don't handle a gender-based violence case as the way you would handle any other case. So you find someone has their own traditional values. For instance, if your matter lands before a magistrate who believes, women should be disciplined. Maybe that's their own traditional, that's what they believe in. You may find that this person might be biased. You may be seeking first a temporary order and they may deny it because of their biased values. And also another thing, also people don't, like, when you file a case in court, you need evidence. So most people, since it's something they are scared about, the stigma around it, you find you don't have enough evidence. So you file a case and you're seeking temporary orders, and maybe because you don't have enough evidence to prosecute that case.
All right.
Yeah.
Wakili, how serious is, domestic violence across, the country now? Looking at everything you're talking about, you say that this is not something that is being taken seriously, might not be taken seriously, and that is why maybe we do not have a court that is specific to handle cases of domestic violence. From where you sit and somebody who is, at the corridors of justice, how serious are these cases?
They are very serious, because first of all, I think it's something that has been happening. Like, surprisingly, if you look at statistics that are done, like I was looking today online, 40% of women undergo it. Like 1 in every 3 women have undergone some form of domestic violence, because they have said there are different forms. It doesn't have to be physical. So it's something that I feel it's very serious. And also people normally assume it's also for low incomes families. No, it goes across, even professionals. Someone assumes it has to be, it can be minimum, like I'm a literate person, there's no way I can undergo this. A lot of people undergo it. And also so I feel this is something that is very serious, and people don't talk about it openly. Like, I think a best example is Ivy Wangeshi. I remember the medical student at Eldoret. Remember the boyfriend went and like killed her with an axe. If you look at comments online, like people were even, usikule fea mtu, and someone is dead. But people you can just tell from how people are handling it, they are not taking it seriously. So of course victims will not feel comfortable coming out or being open about what's happening. And you see now they have said currently in the news, it's very sad. Every morning you wake up, you look at the news. Every time you just look at the news, you hear about even femicides. And sadly, it's something that is seriously happening. So that's why when I bring out the angle of the law, I feel if the legal systems had been put well in place to assist in all this, because I don't know if people have followed up any femicide you have heard about. As someone followed up to know that this person got justice, the family members, or even with any gender-based violence, have these people actually got justice? Because as much as we have the act, you are given the protection orders, sometimes people break those. Sometimes people don't take it seriously as they're supposed to. So I feel they are saying it's something that is very serious right now, and I call it a silent epidemic. It's something that is all over, and I feel it should be talked about more. Our leaders should be talking about more measures should be brought. I don't think even there are enough safe houses, because you imagine a situation if someone is going through, like, let's say someone who is married or just in a partnership with someone, and the sad part is you may find this person is depending on this person financially. So someone will be like, where will I go? I have 3 children, I'm not working, where will I go? And part of the act was safe houses to be created, but I don't think there are enough facilities that have been brought, especially for outside Nairobi. Or even if they are there, do people know where they are located? There's not enough information, in my opinion.
All right, so we are talking about 40% of women in